Hey guys, it's Candy. Welcome back. Can you believe we're finally reading Breaking Dawn? I feel like I've been at these Twilight books forever. So if you've missed my other videos, I've done a separate video on each of the Twilight books. So we are on book 4, Breaking Dawn, and also I always try to give the disclaimer at the beginning of these videos that they will not be spoiler free. I basically do a little reading vlog where I read and then I share my thoughts with you guys, and it tends to be a lot of comparisons of the book versus the movie because that's what I know best is the movie. I've seen the movies probably 20 some times each, and I read the books only once. Breaking Dawn was first published in August of 2008. So 14 years ago. Of course, it's the longest one, 754 pages, and it is Monday night. Carly and I just got done watching Dancing with the Stars. Oh, I just noticed I have a bookmark in here to use, so that's good. And of course, my little guy, Toby, was here. I don't know where he went. He's off hiding. It says book 1, Bella, and there's 7 chapters. And then it says book 2, Jacob. I do not remember this. And then page 361 for the remainder of the book. Guys, so it is the next day and I am on chapter 4, page 51, and Bella and Edward just got married and now we're about to start the reception, and I'm really enjoying Breaking Dawn so far. I'm again assuming you guys have either read the book or watched the movie, so you kind of know the plot and you know what's going on. I just kind of like to it's almost like I'm gossiping about the book, really is what it is. I'm really enjoying Breaking Dawn. I don't feel like it really reads like a youth fiction book. I feel like it's more almost like adult fiction. I feel like the writing has improved a lot and Bella has also matured. I don't know if that's just a mixture of the writing being better or just Bella being more in touch with her emotions, but all of the first 50 pages here leading up to the wedding and Bella's emotions and her interactions with her mom and her dad and all of that have just been really interesting and fun to read. No major notes on the book being different than the movie other than they brought up again, Bella brought up that she wasn't overly excited in meeting Tanya, I think it is, one of the Denali clan, because apparently Tanya had put moves on Edward, more or less trying to pursue a relationship with him, but Edward blew her off, and this like happened years and years and years ago, but that's kind of like Bella's like nervous to meet her because of that reason. And I know for a fact that doesn't happen in the movies at all, so that was something that they left out. But yeah, we're gonna jump into reading about the reception. We're gonna see if Jacob shows up like in the movie. I literally think I'm just gonna start reading on my Kindle. This book is so bulky. So, of course, tears. They are leaving for their honeymoon. Everything happened exactly like in the movie. Jacob showed up, they danced, then Jacob got angry. I don't even know if this happens in the movie, but he basically got angry because Bella implied she was going to be human for a couple more weeks, like during their honeymoon, and Jacob's like, well, it's not like you guys can be together while you're still human, and she's like, that's none of your business, and he got mad. So then like Sam and Seth were telling him he needed to leave. So I don't know, some of the details were a little bit different, but overall same concept. And now they're getting in the car and her mom's crying and her dad's crying and everybody's crying, I'm crying. I say this while I'm reading every book, but I just love Charlie so much. Okay, reading on my Kindle now because I'm much more comfortable. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I'm reading inside now. It's obviously dark outside. I had to get some work done, but now I've been like really getting a lot of reading done, and I made some little notes. That's the nice thing about when you use your Kindle is you can like do little highlights and then go back. There were no wedding speeches. It like hit me while I was reading like the honeymoon part Like, there were no speeches. And I missed that funny part where, like, Jessica was like, of course she's pregnant. Why else do you get married at 18? None of that stuff was in there. So for the honeymoon, I feel like, obviously reading it in the book, like them having sex for the first time and how all of that went down, I feel like it's definitely more fun to read in the book versus the movie, just because you get all of like Bella's like thoughts and reactions to everything, which is just way better than in the movie where she barely says like 2 words about anything. And then like the days after, when Edward's just basically avoiding her because he doesn't, like, he feels bad because he hurt her and all that. Like, there's no dialogue. If you think about it, in the movies, there's like 0 dialogue during any of those scenes. It's just all these like exchanged looks and little smirks and laughs and smiles. There's so much more to what happened. I also think Isle Esme is beautiful in the movie, don't get me wrong, but the way it's described in the book, I visualize it like even 10 times better. I just got to the part where Bella finds out that she's pregnant, or assumes that she's pregnant. Happens just like in the movies. Edward freaks out, he can't talk, they call Carlisle, and then Edward finally gets on the phone, makes the plans for them to come home, and tells Bella, don't worry, I'm not gonna let this baby hurt you. We're gonna go home and we're gonna get this baby out of you. Bella's like really upset and confused, and that's when she calls Rosalie to say, I need your help. So now we're into the chapters where it's from Jacob's point of view. And I'm really confused because apparently Jacob has a sister named Rachel. Did we ever hear about Rachel? Jacob just broke Paul's nose. This is all just so weird. Probably just because none of this is in the movie. There's never any parts of Jacob by him, like without Bella. So this is weird. I wonder why they didn't add any of this into the movie, like getting just, I don't know, some more Jacob. That would have been kind of cool. What Edward actually suggested that Jacob convince Bella to get rid of this baby because it's killing her basically, and Bella can have a baby with Jacob. What? Yeah, I can't say that I love these Jacob chapters because it's just a lot of the wolves communicating with each other through their thoughts, like not actual quotes, conversations, just a bunch of back and forth, back and forth. All right, my eyes are getting really tired. It's 11:15. Oh, one more thing. So they just had the moment where they're like, Edward bonded with the baby, like he could hear the baby's thoughts, keeps referring to the baby as a he, but he's like, he's so happy and he adores you. He absolutely loves you, Bella. It's such a cute moment. I love it. I can't stop reading now. So the baby is born. It's like literally midnight now. So the baby is born. Bella's heart stops beating. Edward puts his venom in here, all that. No one really knows what's going to happen with Bella. Jacob is determined to go look at the baby, and he's referring to it as a killer. He's going to kill the baby. He has like all these negative thoughts, and then all of a sudden, eye contact with the baby, and he sees Bella's eyes. And he says, a new string held me where I was. Not one string, but a million. Not strings, but steel cables. A million steel cables all tying me to one thing, to the very center of the universe. The gravity of the earth no longer tied me to the place where I stood. It was the baby girl in the blonde vampire's arms that held me here now. Renee Esme. Oh, got goosebumps. Okay, I am now 89% done. I literally took a bath and read for about an hour and a half, and now here we are again in the reading chair in my bedroom. Oh, here's yesterday's pajamas. Oh boy. So I feel like the book, like when they showed the cottage, Edward and Bella's house with their daughter's room, Like, that was all so cute. Charlie meets Renee Esme for the first time. Like, all those chapters were just so good. Even better than the movie. Then we get to the part where Irina, that's the girl's name, when she, from the Denali family, when she sees Bella, Renee Esme, and Jacob out. Actually, Renee Esme is out hunting, basically. Jacob's with her. That's when Bella notices Irina on a cliff. And in the movie, remember, she's like catching snowflakes or whatever. That does not happen like that in the book. It's a lot different, and they try to like get Irina's attention and they couldn't catch her, they couldn't find her, whatever. And then I feel like ever since that part, I'm just like, ugh, I'm just so bored. And in the movie, I feel like it was super intense, and they got all of the like different vampires to come, and I mean, all of that, it's okay in the book. I just like don't care. My connection is so much with like Edward and Bella and Jacob, and like to add all these like additional characters towards the end of Breaking Dawn to me is just like, I don't know. Do we care at this point? We're on book number 4. I've said this in these videos before. I've never liked any of the chapters with the Volturi. It's just boring. I don't like the fighting. So I'm probably gonna finish this tonight, and then I will wrap up my thoughts with you guys in the morning or tomorrow afternoon or whatever, because I'm determined to get this done, because this just, I feel like all I've been doing is reading Breaking Dawn this week. Here we are, the tail end of Eclipse. I ended up not finishing it last night. Finished it up today, and there's all the fighting, which I remember the first time that I seen the movie in the theater, and there was all this fighting, and Carlisle died. I'm trying to even think who else. Some of the wolves fell into the crack that Benjamin made on the ground. Of course, I liked that Edward and Bella had killed Arrow, or Arrow. Here we go again, not remembering how that's supposed to be pronounced. Anyways, it was like, why would they do this to us? Why would they end this movie like this? This fight wasn't supposed to happen. And reading it back in the book was interesting because, of course, none of that happened. There was really no fighting. There was Alice showing Arrow what would happen. He was able to visualize it, but there wasn't like all the details. And I guess just mentally, we weren't prepared for that when we seen the movie. It was quite intense. Thankfully, it was just the visions and whatever. So here we are after the fight, and Bella is actually showing Edward like all of her memories, like letting him basically read her mind. She was just concentrating really hard and trying to remember as many moments as she could. So like when her guard was down, he could actually read her mind, something he had never been able to do. I feel like it was a really nice way to end it, but the fact that like it's just a few pages and you're like, I mean literally like 2.5 pages and then it's over. If you're someone like me who doesn't really enjoy the fighting and the Volturi drama and all that, you're kind of just like, it took up such a huge chunk of the book. Just the conversations, preparing for it, being worried of what was going to happen, Alice and Jasper taking off, just so much of like the second half of this book was about that. Instead of exploring more of Bella becoming a vampire and, I don't know, a little bit more of the romance stuff would have been nice. But I understand that's not ultimately what this book was about. But anyways, after he couldn't read her mind anymore, I feel like I just need to read the last couple lines of this book to end this video series. She hefted the shield out of her mind. He was able to catch a few more of her thoughts. And then he said, "Damn it," he growled, kissing hungrily down on the edge of my jaw. "We have plenty of time to work on it," I reminded him. "Forever and forever and forever," he murmured. "That sounds exactly right to me." And then we continued blissfully into the small but perfect piece of our forever. The end. So sad. I cried in the movie theater at the last movie. It was pretty traumatic. It's sad when the series was over. Sad when I read the last book. Sad when the movie ended. And I feel like these characters are still so very real to me. Like, out of any books that I've read, movies that I've seen, in my mind, Bella, Edward, and Jacob are very real. I definitely enjoyed going back and reading the books all these years later. It was quite a different experience compared to when I read them the first time. Of course, unfortunately, my mind harped the most on all the ways the book was different than the movies, but it was fun nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys.